So today I wanted to talk about the Witcher. I was going to say three, season three, and I'm on just finished episode 1 and 2, and I'm working on episode 3 at the moment. And I wanted to talk about something that I noticed in, I think it was the first or second episode, I believe. And this is what I just kind of want to call logical errors or a logical error. And this is where something that causes the audience to kind of pull back and go, hey, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense, basically. And this is a very, very broad thing. But basically, I saw a particularly good example of this and kind of wanted to just highlight why it's bad, what makes these things happen, and kind of to see what we can do to alleviate these. So basically what happens is we've got Geralt over here with his sword, and he is there in an ancient elven ruin. So we've got Geralt here, we've got Ciri, I think she's also got a little sword. And then we've got Yennefer with who's doing magic fire things, basically. Let me see if I can draw some fire things. I'm not doing a very good job. But these are different players. I got Yen, Ciri, and Geralt from here. And then we've got elves that are attacking, basically. I was trying to draw pointy ears, but apparently I'm not doing a great job of that. So we've got some elves that are attacking on all sides, basically. They're surrounding them and attacking them with elves on all sides. And at the same time, the reason why they're here is because these three are against this fellow named Rience. I listened to the audiobooks of this one, so in the show they call him Rience. And in the audiobook, whatever the guy's name is, who's absolutely phenomenal, he actually calls him Rience. So we got Rience, and he is the flame guy. So basically, he's got a match. And let's see if I can do fire correctly this time. There we go. That works. All right, so Rience, and they're fighting against him. So this is the scene. So basically what happens is you've got Geralt, Ciri, and Yennefer, and they're baiting Ciri in order to draw Rience, the evil wizard, out, and he's going to come kidnap her with all of his minions from here. And then suddenly they also get attacked by elves, and then dwarves come back and fight the elves, and it's just kind of like this whole big old battle, basically, from here. So we've got that. And then basically from here, basically we've got is Rience attacks, and then he teleports through a teleporter, basically, to faraway land, basically. And we've got a nice little scene here with like mountains, and he's teleporting there and all that. Basically, he's teleporting back to his kind of area, his lair, super secret hidey hole, basically from there. So he runs away into here. Yen holds the portal open, and then Geralt runs through the portal. So basically then Geralt teleports into Rience's super secret hideout, and we've got Geralt here, still got his trusty sword, and then we've got Geralt versus Rience, again with the flames. There we go. All right. And basically from here, they fight, go back and forth. Geralt gets the upper hand and breaks both of Rience's limbs. So basically we've got noodle wrists from here, basically. And he broke both of his hands, and he's pretty bummed about that. It also seemed like it hurt a lot. But basically the main thing is he can't do magic anymore. He broke his wrist. He's completely helpless, basically, from here. And then Geralt spends a few moments staring out of a window. It's a really nice window, and basically he sees distant mountains off there. I'm guessing the idea is that he sees kind of where they're at, or has kind of a rough idea of where his lair is from here, but he's staring out the window. It is a nice view. I honestly wouldn't mind having a secret evil lair somewhere around there or something like that. All right, there we go. And there's the secret window over there. So these are broken wrists, basically. They are broked. All right. And so from here, and then from here, what happens is then Geralt then runs after breaking both wrists and staring at the window. Then so this is, action number 1. Then we got action number 2. And then we are going to, oops. There we go. My phone is overheating. Oopsie daisy. I didn't really think that could happen. Oops. All right, so we got action number 2, and then what we got action number 3 is Geralt runs out of the teleporter because he hears Ciri scream. So he runs through the teleporter and then heads back up to our fight, our big fight up here. So we'll call this, we'll put nice little brackets around here and call this the big fight. And then what happens is kind of what everyone expects. They round up the fight. The elves are killed. The dwarves are kind of victorious. Geralt and Yen and Ciri win, and they all live, and they drive away Rience and the elves, and everyone's hunky-dory. But then basically they have this question of what are we going to do next? Basically what the next step is. So after the fight, they have to figure out what's next from here. And then Geralt has this great idea down the line that he's going to find Rience. He needs to stop Rience. Got to stop him. Because he's been chasing him nonstop for the previous episode this whole time. And it's just been this continual challenge and everything of what he's been doing. And he's just continually hunting them, more or less. And so they're trying to figure out a way to escape him and kind of find a way to where they can actually live a normal life. Or at least more normal, basically. So he's got to figure out how to stop Rience. And then this is what Geralt is going to do. Let's see, this is Geralt's plan, G plan. The G plan, and then the C and Y plan is to go to Aretuza. And I honestly don't remember what the exact reasoning behind this. I need to do a more in-depth analysis of this episode because I feel like the old person who just can't figure out what's going on in this show. And I'm not sure it's my fault. It may very likely be my fault because I do not remember season 2 at all. Probably a good thing. But I can't remember anything at all. And I'm trying to figure out what on earth is going on because it feels kind of like season 1, just not as interesting and bad in every single way. So actually, I probably should have saved that for the end. I feel like I'm spoiling it from here. But basically, they're going to Aretuza. So basically, then what we've got here is a big old question. This is what I would classify as a logical error. Logical error in the reasoning of the character Geralt. And what that is, hey, Geralt, if you were trying to find Rience and stop him, why didn't you just kill him? Like, they could have just killed him right here. He's helpless, kill him. Like, Geralt's standing right there. You can just go stabby stab. He's dead. Move on to the next. And it's like, oh, he didn't have time. He definitely had time. Like, it takes Geralt like 2 seconds to kill a guy, or even 1 second. And the reason why we know this is because we watched him do it in this big fight. Geralt kills a bunch of people. There's a lot of death, all this kind of stuff going on. And it's like, we know how long it takes Geralt to kill somebody, about as long as it takes to break somebody's wrists. And the question is, okay, so he was trying to incapacitate him so he could get information out of him, but then why just leave him there? Why not just kill him? It's like, oh, well, he needed him alive to run around and continue to burn other people alive and continue to hunt Ciri. Like, this is the part where the reasoning and the logic behind it doesn't make sense. And this is not necessarily something that is gonna break the show for most people. This is kind of one of those things where I think it's not necessarily, logical errors don't really come up unless they build up or they're particularly egregious. So there was one in the last season where basically Geralt and Yen have a fight. I think it's after Yen sells Ciri away, more or less from there, and kind of sells her as far as the sells her to the witch lady to get her magical powers back. And Yen is then chasing after Geralt, who's going back to Kaer Morhen. And she's chasing after him, and she's yelling, Geralt! And then Geralt, and kind of this whole thing. And then we teleport to the next stage, and guess what she's saying? Geralt. And it gives this idea that she's been following him and just shouting this whole time, when in reality, the two places where they came from, which was, I don't know, it was some monastery. I think it was, what was it? I can't remember. It's the monastery place with what's-her-face. They're at the monastery where Ciri's hiding. I'm trying to remember what the sister's name is. I actually really liked her. But basically, monastery, they're running through here. They go through here, and they're running to Geralt Moorhead. These places are probably about 3 months. I don't know. These places are far away. At least 1 month. 1, 2, 3 months away by travel. This is not something that's going to break your show, because most people don't know this. A lot of the casual fans didn't know that these two places were very far away, but basically this whole thing, the scene just doesn't make sense. So at worst, it's something that's actively pulling the audience out of the story, making the characters think that they're stupid. And the problem is once you start realizing that every character is kind of stupid, or stuff just doesn't seem to make sense in this world, you start to get pulled out of the show and you start to lose interest in the show. And it really starts to damage you. And this is just I would classify this as a logical error. Everyone's just like, why would you continually shout Geralt for 3 months while traveling from one place to another? It doesn't make sense. It's not good story writing, it's not good writing, not good character writing, not logically, world building wise, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't line up. So this whole thing just looks really, really bad for everything. And the biggest problem, what it does is it causes the seed of doubt in the audience to happen. And they always, from there, once the seed of doubt is, they stop asking, when they start asking the question, why did the character do this? They stop asking the more important question up here, which is what happens next. So when the audience is thinking about, why did, Geralt not kill Rience? He broke his wrists. Why no? Because literally, all it would have taken, he runs out, slashes with his sword, Rience is dead, moving on. Or at least wound him a little bit more, stab him a little bit more. He broke his wrist with his hands easily. He could have killed him so easy. He tossed a knife. He could have thrown him out a window. He could have brought him back through the teleporter. Especially because time apparently doesn't really seem to be of the essence, because Geralt spends this time staring out the nice window. If it's, hey, the pressure's on and Geralt got distracted and didn't realize, and now we're starting to come up with excuses for why Geralt doesn't know what he's doing, basically. And so what happens is, when you have these logical errors, is the audience starts to wonder, why didn't the characters do this, instead of looking to see what happens next. And what happens next is, they're usually, not always, but usually you want to have some sort of character trust. In the sense that I trust the character to act in the best way possible, to where the audience is kind of waiting to see what they do next. And so where you're kind of adding this anticipation, this mystery, and so where you have these characters that the audience trusts and they want to see what they're doing and everything like that. And it makes a huge deal. It makes a big difference for it. And this is just something in which so far The Witcher, probably season 2 and season 3, is just not doing a very good job of. These logical errors in the last one seem to be really building up, and in this one so far it's not looking too great. That's kind of part of a bigger issue. But this is just something I wanted to give an example of a logical error and kind of what it does for your story. It doesn't kill it, because most people don't notice it. Most of my family and friends who hadn't read the books or anything weren't really familiar. This scene, especially this one right here, just didn't really, just didn't really make sense for it, basically. It just didn't do it at all. And so that's kind of the thing where I just wanted to highlight from there. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one.